Hey, what's going on?
What's up, man?
Welcome.
Back again.
I feel like I say that too much. Is that too formal? I say two things very formally. I say welcome and hello, and people get very freaked out.
I think for the podcast, that's kind of become your moniker. So
Yeah, it's what it is.
Out.
So how you been doing, man?
Pretty good, man. Just been doing freelance projects for other people. Got another one coming up possibly soon. Gonna, work out some templates and, work out some mock-ups for them and possibly move for that one.
You kind of committing a crime, man. You're not really telling people about the art of freelancing.
I do that a lot, don't I?
You do. Tell them about freelancing a little bit, because I feel like people don't really know that you can make random money if you have a skill set.
Outside of the brand, I produce a whole bunch of things for that. Outside of that, I do work for other people. So, whether they need websites done or logos or anything like that, since I have a degree in graphic design, I, try and help people out as much as I can and put projects together for them or put branding packages together for them, whether they have like a salon. I've worked with somebody that has a salon and she needed a new logo and business cards and all that. I put a whole package together for her, rebranding for that. And I've done a couple websites for people, done some template things for people. So pretty much as much time as you can put in, you can make money from it. So.
Yeah. There are two sites that I know of that really kind of opened up the world of freelancing for me. Fiverr, FIVERR.com, and Upwork. I just signed up for Upwork. I'm going to get into voice talent again because I feel like, why not? I could sit home, record audio, send it to somebody and get a couple $100 just to read off some educational stuff. I mean, it's crazy. It's like, it feels like it's a gold rush if you really know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And I think people need to understand that, like, if you quit your job, you're like, fuck this job. You can do something in between. You could Uber, you could be a freelancer, you can do all that stuff. And I think that's the key. That's the major key. A lot of people don't know about that.
Another site is, I believe, People Per Hour. I found that last year. You actually have to, I guess, submit some type of portfolio to get accepted to it. But once you get accepted on there, you can pretty much, they give you 15 free bids a month. And that's what's really cool about it, because most other freelance sites, as far as like doing design work, you have to, pay for the bids that you put in, which is kind of backwards. If you don't have any money, you have to pay to try and make some money. So it doesn't really make sense. So they give you 15 free bids, and you can also put up some free postings as well. So that's a good one if you're looking to get into it. Check that out.
Cool. So that's something that I feel like people need to know about. So that's one of our branded approved freelance like crazy, man.
Yeah, definitely. If you're trying to be a creative, that's a good lane for you to get in. And it's a whole bunch of things you can do. You can write for people. You can do design work. You can do editing. So, pretty much anything you're interested in, if you're good at it, people will pay you to do it.
Okay. Cool.
One of the things past week, the new edition movie, that was really good. I wanted to mention that.
It was incredible. It was, so I think the BET gets a bad rap for making stuff, kind of mediocre stuff. But in the past year, I honestly say like 12 months or so, they've been making some crazy good stuff, like extraordinarily good stuff. The award shows have been good. They've been getting good guests, pairing up good people.
Seems like they're going to have some good shows, too. The trailer for The Quad, that looked interesting.
That action show about the cop that is going against the force.
I didn't see
it's
that.
Like shooting people with shotguns. It's like a woman lead. It looks incredible, man. They're really trying. So it's good to hear that. I just did the What a Joke Festival in Baltimore. It was basically all over the country.
Yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to bring up, too. The ACLU, they're really putting some strides in for the people of America, and they took a stance as far as that ban that just happened, and they were able to get the judge to sign off and keep everybody they were trying to deport in the country. So.
Yeah, and some airports are refusing to follow the ban, and there's like a list if you look online. It's a crazy time. There's a list of airports that are actually letting people of Muslim descent and other ethnicities and religions, letting them come into the country, as opposed to the ban they're just refusing to. So look up those lists. I'm sure you have some people who are non-white that exist in your world that you need to give out this information to. So,
but yeah, back to the What a Joke Festival.
Yeah, it was okay. So the What a Joke Festival isn't directly the ACLU, but it's like a group that wants to raise money for the ACLU. They wound up putting the week of the inauguration concerts, shows around the country. And I participated in the opening day, which was at Metro Gallery. It was packed house, told some jokes. It was fun, man. It was a lot of fun. Went off the top of my head a little bit. Talked about my nuts a little bit. I mean, it was fun. It was real fun. So, yeah, civil rights is very important. Keep educated because, yeah, you don't really value your civil rights until they get, taken from you. And this applies to everybody, all shapes and sizes and races and ages. There's ageism, sexism, racism, religious biases that happen. Be aware that, until you feel that feeling that you feel that one time, some people feel all the time, so just keep it in mind. Stay educated, stay scheming, because I stay scheming. But yeah, that's about it. Anything else? What's going on with?
I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool.
Everything that I wanted to mention. So.
Cool. So we have a special guest today. Sir, I want you to introduce yourself.
I'm Jerill Sanky, owner and creator of Creative King Headwear Company.
Oh,
or Hat Company, as you will
yeah.
say.
I feel like you're a man of many hats. Many styles of hats, man.
Yeah.
I kind of got wind of you through 16 Tons, which is a shop in Baltimore. Is it Southern?
It's Hamden.
Hamden,
yeah.
Hamden, Maryland. So it's a small community, artsy community, and I went in for some jeans. I wanted some salvage jeans. I wanted some salvage denim, and I saw a 5-panel hat, and I was like, Jesus Christ, where's this come from? It's like some old California import. And dude was like, nah, this guy's from here. In fact, he makes the hats himself. And I was like, oh, what? 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 Hold on. Whoa. This kind of sets apart, what you do. So how did it start? How did you even?
I'm going to tell you how it started. Well, first off, before I even started making anything, I had no background in any fashion design. I didn't go to school for any of that. I actually worked for Anne Arundel County Board of Education as a custodian for 8 years before I even thought about making anything. Yeah. So
holy shit.
It all came about when I met my wife.
Okay.
When I met my wife, I just knew she knew computer programming, and one day I was like, man, I'm gonna make a clothing brand. I was talking about it for years with this one particular friend. I was like, dude, we're gonna do something. And you know how that go when you're talking to people.
Yeah.
They're always talking you up, and y'all talking each other up, and one's not on the program like you think they should be.
Yes.
But now, I mean, I just got tired of that. So it's like one day I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do something. And I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know how I'm gonna do it. At first, it was gonna be T-shirts. I wanted to get some T-shirts made, and I was like, well, everybody does T-shirts, or everybody does like slaps a name on a brand or whatnot. Not taking away from people who make T-shirts or anything like that. Yeah. Because there's some cool shit out there. Just to let you know. But we're just laying in the bed one night with my wife, and I was watching hat tutorials. This is when like people was changing out brims.
Yeah,
I was like sports caps, like putting different themes and stuff. Yeah. I was like, oh, that's dope.
And charging hundreds of dollars.
Exactly.
This is crazy.
I ended up doing that. I ended up taking apart a hat, and I was like, "Ooh, this is pretty easy." So I did that, and I think it was like a galaxy pattern on a Spurs hat that I changed over for somebody, and it really looked like shit. It wasn't all that good. But and I thought I was moving something. I was like, you know what, this is dope. I can probably do this. But then after a week of that, I was like, you know what, this is kind of boring.
Right.
I was like, I want to make hats because I always loved 5-panel hats.
Yeah.
Growing up, like just I don't know. I had a cousin from New York that was in the graffiti, so he was like always into the style and the fashion,
right? And
like rocking 5-panels. And one day I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make my own 5-panel hats. I was like, but I'm not gonna get them wholesale and put a name on them. I'm gonna make them myself. And my wife looked at me funny, and I was like, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And then one day it's like I just went to the flea market for Tapsco, and I bought a 5-panel hat, and I deconstructed it, and I took the shape. Took the size and measurements and all that, tweaked it a little bit, and then I went from there. And one day I just sat down. I tried to do it by hand.
Oh, okay.
And that wasn't working because I had no experience of using a sewing machine or anything. Right. I went to my mom's house and I told my mom what I was trying to do. She's like, "Oh, baby, yo, that's good." She's like, "I'm gonna buy you a sewing machine." I was like, "All right, cool." So she went and bought me like $100 Brothers sewing machine, and then like I just watched a couple tutorial videos of how to thread it, and I went from there. And then I don't know, dude. It's the way it happened. I still get flabbergasted thinking about like when I first started making hats. I never knew I would be where I'm at right now. Like. To me, it's not a lot, but eventually, I want to be worldwide. So I know it's crazy how that.
So what's the timeline? How long ago did you start?
I started in 2010.
Okay. Oh, boy, that's not that long ago. I mean,
I wasn't making anything.
Right. But you started the process.
I started the process in 2010.
So when did you start? When did you make your first 5-panel hat?
My first 5-panel hat in my living room, living in Fells Point in 2011.
Okay.
And I was making one-offs, like 5 or 6 at a time. And I tried to give up a couple times because I was like, nah, this ain't me. I can't sew. I was like, I don't even know how I'm doing this. And it's crazy because when you start getting passionate about something and you feel a drive of liking that, and when you start picking yourself up to do it and you start doing it and you don't want to give up, I did not want to get up. I would stay up until 3 a.m, like trying to figure stuff out, getting frustrated, and like just like pulling my hair out, which I ain't really on that, but just pulling my hair out, trying to get this thing done. I'm like, and I was actually carrying myself like I was working for a designer or a clothing brand. That's how I put myself in that mindset. That's how I kind of kept myself on track of continuing to do it. So
that's incredible, man.
So. Where you from, and like, did you always have a passion for hats, like growing up as a kid?
I always had a passion for fashion, streetwear culture. So it's like I said, it started with the 5-panel hats because I'm from Alabama originally.
Okay.
And I'm in Montgomery, and I moved to Maryland in '99.
Okay.
So I always was in the streetwear. It's like back then it was like Roc-a-Wear. That's when all the urban fashion started to build up. Yeah. Got a lot of drive from that, and I thought that was cool because seeing like a lot of big black entities like come up and make their own brands and and it's crazy because when those brands was popping, it was like I don't know, that era was like really dope, and like you want to see it go far, but I guess it didn't go far, and like none of those brands basically what I'm trying to say is none of those brands stayed around long enough to be like a Ralph Lauren or a Tommy Hilfiger. I mean, it's just crazy how, like, if you was to try to wear Roc-a-Wear today, you'll get clowned. Yeah. You know what I mean? But Polo has been around since, like, the early 80s, and, like, it never gets old. Yeah. And, like, I try to follow that creative things, and I don't really too much care about catering to what people want. I make what I like. Mm-hmm. And, like, I just try to keep pushing the envelope.
Gotcha. The logo's how did that come about? It's like a brain and
crown, yeah. Brain and a crown. I was asking my wife, I was like, "No, dude, what are we gonna name this?" I was like, "I don't know." She's like, "I don't know, think of something." And so I just started writing a list of names of brands that I wanted to name the brand. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, I'm one of those people where if I want to do something, I want to do it right then and there, and I'm not gonna really like think about it too much. Yeah. So one day I was like, you know what? What about King Creative? And I was like, nah, that sounds corny. I was like, nah, what about Creative King? I was like, I'm going to go with Creative King because I'm tired of trying to make this damn list. So I was stuck with Creative King. I was like, well, since I picked a mediocre name, I need to come up with a logo that's going to, people will remember it. So I was like, you know what? So I sat down and I drew a brain. And I was like, that's cool. I was like, I'm going to throw a crown on it. So I threw a crown on it. I was like, there we go. Creative King, brain and crown. And then that's what I went from there. And she's like, and my wife told me, she's like, you sure you want to name it that? I was like, yeah, I want to name it Creative King. I was like, I like it.
Yeah, that's a good ring to it.
Yeah, and what I did was working at a high school, I worked 2:30 to 11 shift. So my thing every day was to go to work, get my work done by 6, because I basically worked on my own pace, cleaning rooms and stuff. Yeah. So I get all my work done by 6 o'clock, and I'll go sit in a classroom, and I just draw. Yeah. Just draw logos and designs. I was like, this is going to be what we're dropping for the spring of 2011 or 2012. This is going to be the drop. Not having anything. I didn't have no shirts, no nothing. I was, like I said, I was carrying it like it was an actual brand, like I was out in the world. Didn't talk to nobody about anything. I was just carrying, like I was living in my own head. Yeah. And that's how I built my passion up. And like doing that, and it just exploded.
Wow.
And I just kept going and going. Every night I would get home from coming from work after drawing whatnot, having drawn stuff and like having it in my portfolio. Then when I get home, I would just sit there and I would drag my wife to the computer. I was like, yo, we finna work on Adobe tonight. Let's get this ready. Like just like getting her to edit stuff that I had nothing to put on.
Right.
So it's like like I said, and then I came to the hat part of everything, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna make this an all-out hat brand, and I'm just gonna make hats.
Yeah.
Still making the one-off hats. I wasn't selling through anybody. Then I think it was 2012 when I was first put them up on the site. I got a big cartel and I put them up. I thought I was doing it too. I mean, it wasn't. Didn't know nothing about marketing. Didn't know anything about like getting out, talking to people. I was just pushing it. And then I found something on Instagram and Tumblr. And from there, I was just like on Tumblr and Instagram, just pushing it hardcore. Me thinking that I'm making waves, like I'm getting out to people because I'm getting likes. I'm thinking that it's like blowing up, but it wasn't. You know, I don't know if you guys remember FedEx.
Yes. I sold my stuff at FedEx.
Yeah.
I used to have a little line. I sold my stuff at FedEx.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Status apparatus.
I heard of that.
This, we believe in living under the Baltimore sun. That was the one that got the most. I would put that in. It was like the Believe logo and then the Baltimore Sun at the bottom.
Nice.
And every time I put it in that shop, it would sell out.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was my first taste of like. People would send me pictures of people with the stuff out, and that was something I had never experienced before. I had an idea in my head and making it happen, and then seeing people. When was the first time that you felt that feeling? Like you saw somebody with a hat on?
When I first see somebody with my hat on, all right, fast forward 2012, 2013, I moved to Hamden. Still making hats. I was still carrying on. I made the first 2 years or so online, I made like 3 to 4 sales. Okay. I thought I was doing it.
Yeah.
I really thought I was doing it.
Right,
so I just kept making hats, and we moved to Hamden. I kept making hats, and one day I was like, man, you know what, dude? I have to get in the store. Because like I said, I went to FedEx, and he shitted on me.
Really?
I mean, like, at first he liked it, but then, like, he had a pop-up with some guys from, what's the clothing brand name?
Oh, he loved them. You talk about the dudes.
From Michigan.
Mishka?
No, not Michigan. Yeah, he used to talk Michigan.
He loved.
All the time. He was on Michigan heavy.
Heavy. He like cupped their balls. It was so weird. Like he loved that brand.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
He had a pop up one day, and I showed up, and I was like, somebody was like, "Oh yeah, you make hats or whatever," and then he said, "Yeah, he makes hats, but he ain't really it's all right." And like that made me go like, "Whoa." Yeah. And that was just like I needed to hear it, so it's like, you know what. I'm going to just take what I have back from, because he didn't put it out. So I'm going to just take what I had back. I'm going to go back. I need to go back to the house.
So wait, he took it? And
he was acting like he was going to carry it, but he didn't. I mean, he had a couple hats. I gave him some hats.
I've seen him do that before.
And he just held them behind the counter. And I went there one day to go see if it was up or whatever, and like it was just still behind the counter. So it was just like, all right.
That whole experience, because I had my own line and I put stuff out. And like when I first started my brand, I came back home. Went to speak to him a couple times, and first time he was like real standoffish. He was like, "Well, dude, I never met you before. You don't even have a relationship with me. Come down here and build a relationship, and I don't know who you are." So that was the first experience. The second time I went down there, it was other people in the store. So the staff, I was sitting there, having a good conversation with them. They were like, "Oh man, I like your stuff. You have anything?" So I actually had some stickers on me at the time. So I gave them some stickers. They were like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna put it around the store. You know what I mean? We got a whole bunch of stickers on our trash can. I'll throw it on there with the rest of them. And yeah, man, I like your stuff." And then he walks in. I talked to him. He was like, "Yeah, well, it's all right. I have somebody here that does designs. You should get with them and have them design for you and then put it out that way."
Yeah, he was hot, man.
Yeah.
Look, I had a weird experience. So I didn't make anything at first. I had like a one sheet with like 15 designs on it. And so it was like actually more like a binder. So I went there and I was like, "Hey, these are the designs that I want to put out. Tell me which ones you would carry." He's like, "This is good. Put some drop shadow on this. This is shitty. Change the color on this. Think about this." And I kept going back over and over and over and over again until I got to a point where like I kind of figured out what his taste was. So I'd make things specifically for the shop, and he would push them because of that. which isn't necessarily the best way to go about doing it.
It isn't.
But me doing it for the first time, I'm like, I gotta.
Exactly.
But there is something to taking some of that in, just to know like everybody isn't gonna like it necessarily. But that's not a representation of if it's good or not. It's just that's a residual. It's like you put yourself out into the world, you're gonna get back all sorts of. It's not all gonna be kind words.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And I didn't know that. I didn't know that a man could look you in the face and be like, this is. I've seen him. People brought that stuff in and he was like, this is trash. Get this out of my store. Why are you here? Some of that might have to do with like his state of mind, and I'm not gonna get heavy into that.
Yeah.
We know some.
Yeah.
We all kind of, you know what I'm saying? So, but I do think there's something kind of admirable about this man being like a white Charlemagne.
Yeah.
Being able to shitting on us like it was nothing. I've never felt so weird in my life, but it sounds like it inadvertently taught us all something.
Oh yeah, no
about
doubt.
how I kind of want to thank him, man.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie. I thank him for that too, because constructive criticism is some people can't handle it.
Somebody,
you know what I mean? And like, I had to groom myself to be like, you know what, it is what it is. Because I got hit by surprise when I got my first constructive criticism, which was by Dan of 16 Tons. Dan Wilder.
Okay.
Like I said, going back to the story of being in the house one day when we moved to Hampton, I was sitting there and I was just like, man, you know what? I need to get my stuff in a store. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to walk down to this 16-ton place because I seen he did a little mini documentary online I was watching. I was like, yo, this is cool. I like the earth tones. He got some cool stuff. Mind you, at the time, I was going to Joann Fabrics and like getting like fabrics with anchor prints and all that, or like just making anything. Nothing really like a style. No line sheet and anything. So I went there one day and I bought him some hats. It was like the weirdest assortment. It was like I said, it was a hat, a long bill with like anchor pattern and ropes. Then I had a hat with like the what the wild things are pattern.
Oh, okay, that's kind of dope though.
I made that. So I took him to him and I walked in there and he was standing there. I was like, oh shit. So I walked up and I'm like, hey man, I make some hats and I want to see if I can carry them in your store. And he looked at him. He's like, oh, so you make hats? I was like, yeah. He said, so where'd you get your hats made at? I was like, no, I made them. He's like, no, well, what do you like? What company makes them for you? I was like, no, I made them myself. I was like, I made these.
Yeah.
He's like, no, you made these? I was like, no, I made them. He's like, he looked at his daughter and he looked back at me and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna give you a go. He's like, I'm gonna give you a go. I'm gonna put them in. We'll see what it do.
Yeah.
Like 3 of those hats sold. Like 3 or 4 sold. Because I think I took him like 6 or 7. 3 hats sold, and like I went back to the ego thing. I thought I was doing it. Right. I go back, and he pulls me to the side. He was like, you know what? He's like, what you do is amazing. He's like, but it's not good for my store. He's like, because I carry earth tones, and I got people who like rockabilly into like the whole hipster look. He's like, can you bring the colors down and make it more earth tony and like try to go with the flow of the store? I was like, yeah. Him telling me that, I went straight back home, right to the wife, and I was like, dude, he just told me some stuff. I don't know if our stuff is good. She's like, nah, he basically just telling you just need to switch it up a little bit, change some colors. And I did that and went back to him, and he was like kind of blown away because he said usually when he tell people things, it's like,
yeah, like fuck this guy.
Yeah, fuck this dude. That's it.
Never come
and
back.
Like I just went back and I took him some new stuff, and he was like, this is cool. He's like, I can do this, and like put it in, and like from there it just rushed, man. Yeah. Gave him some stickers. I was walking down on Charles Street one day, and I think I went into Club Charles to get a drink with a friend. I went to the bathroom and I was peeing, and I look up on the wall and I see one of my stickers. I was like, whoa! I was like, who put that up there? I'm like, that's dope. I got a sticker on the wall. That's awesome. That is. And dope. Like, and then from there on, I seen Chad Goss on a food market.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like I seen him in the barbershop. And then I got my first critique on my construction because he bought a hat, and I was getting ready to get my haircut in Old Bank Barbers, and he was sitting next to me. He's like, oh, you the dude that makes the hats? I was like, yeah, I make the hats. And he was like, yeah. He's like, I just bought one of your hats, and it ripped. I was like, oh, like my heart just crushed. Right. No. He's like, nah, man. He's like, it's cool. He's like, I worked it out with Dan. He's like, but we're going to be spending $40, $50 on your stuff. Like, just want to make sure it's right. But I'm not giving up on you. He's like, I'm just going to keep buying more.
Yeah.
He's like, I was like, dude, that's what's up. Like, straight up telling me what the problem is, and like letting me know, like that made me want to work even harder to make a better product.
Right.
So I went back to the drawing board and I just started like perfecting stitches, lock stitching and all that. And that's how I came from leaving my job as a janitor to working at Sewlab USA.
Oh.
Yeah. So
okay.
I started working at Sewlab on the humble, and Dan Wiley of 16 Tons hooked that up. Because I showed up one day and he was like, yeah, I had this guy that sews, and he looked at your stuff and he said you can do a little better on your stitching and like on back tacking and stuff like that. I was like, all right. He's like, you should give him a call. And that led me to Jeremiah Jones, which is the owner of Sewlab/Old Fast. And like I went and met him one day, showed me the facility, which is on the end of Chestnut, down by Chestnut and Falls Road. He showed me the facility, walked around, and like he said, yeah, I would really love to like show you some new things and show you like how you can expand your brand. And then from now on, I put in my 2 weeks for being a janitor.
Right.
Yeah, it's like I had insurance and they didn't offer that, and I had like all that other stuff, good stuff. I was like, you know what? I'm at a time in my life where I'm not gonna let just having healthcare hold me back.
Right.
I was like, I'm gonna take a chance. Fuck
Yeah.
it. Why not? So I put that 2 weeks in after 8 years of working for the Board of Education.
Wow.
Put that 2 weeks in, hooked up with him. Hell, I was at first I was working both jobs. I was taking off from the school to go sew all day.
Wow.
Because I wanted to sew. I wanted to sew and I wanted to do it that bad. So it's like I was like I said, I would do that like 3 times a week because I had like annual leave and sick leave. I was using all my annual and sick leave just to go work in this little small sweatshop.
Yeah.
Like, and which is dope, and I still do work there, and I love it because we work on good projects, and it really helped me mold my brand. And my brand wouldn't be where it is today if I wasn't working for Sewlab and didn't learn the things I've learned. Because that morphed into making backpacks, tool pouches, totes.
So you know how to do all that.
Yeah, different styles of hats, like 6 panels, 5 panels, all kinds of stuff. All the way into getting my own embroidery machine and embroidering my own stuff. And now I make hats for artists in the city like TT the Artist and like Greenspan and like Good Villain Clothing.
Wow.
And it morphed into that. So right now, my main focus is just trying to expand and get into other cities. So that's what I want to get to.
Wow.
Sorry about that runoff.
No.
It's all good.
I needed that, man. That was a good one.
So, a little bit of a personal question. Like, how did you end up being a janitor? And was that something that like weighed on you as like doing that at your
I had a
career?
daughter. I had a daughter at 20.
Okay.
So I had a daughter, and at the time, like me and my daughter's mom, we went through this little fallout, and they ended up moving to South Carolina. So the janitor thing came purely out of just trying to take care of a kid and then getting put on the child support thing. So it's just like you don't want to be caught up in that already in the system. You don't want to get any worse in the system. So like I just started working that job, and like I did that for 8 years straight. The only hobbies I had, like while working the first beginning of that job, was like I skated a lot, skateboarded a lot. So
Okay.
that was I was doing that, doing little small art projects. I always been artsy.
Right.
I just never like really pulled it out of me. Like I would like do stencils on T-shirts and stuff.
Gotcha.
With that friend that I talked about that wanted to start a brand.
Had a similar situation, right?
Yeah, so it's like for 8 years, man, it was just that and finding myself.
Gotcha.
And then, like I said, when I met my wife in 2010, it's like I got around a bunch of friends that I wasn't hanging around for a while, and they were doing new things and like music and art. And then we started hanging out in the city because I was living in Glen Burnie.
Gotcha.
So we started hanging out in the city, and then that just made me want to move to the city and like.
That changes things.
Yeah, that does. Like,
changes things.
I'm a people person, like, and I love being in highly populated areas. Like, me being from Alabama, like, to most people, Baltimore is not that highly populated. But to me, it's highly populated for me.
It really
like,
is.
I don't know. For me, I feel like I live in, like, a place just similar to New York, but most people wouldn't say that. And people are like, oh, is this Baltimore? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, but I love Baltimore City, man. There's so much potential in this city, man. Like,
it is.
A lot of people that's doing great things. Yeah. Like from what you guys are doing to like everybody that's making clothing and then working with the different shops. And then like everybody that's in the art and doing all the art scene. Like I just think it's dope, man.
It is.
It's awesome.
So you said something about I noticed a recurring theme in this story. Your wife is a through line.
Oh yeah.
How important is it to have people around you that love you and encourage you to do the art? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's a pivotal. Because I feel like at the crossroads of you deciding to do something, she could have just been like, "That is just a terrible idea.
Yeah.
Shut up and keep doing your job." But what is it about having somebody that encourages you and loves you and pushes you towards that kind of makes it the difference between you being creative and not?
I always look for my wife's criticism.
Okay.
Out of anything, like her word for me is like it means a lot. Her and my daughter, like they they just give me drive, man.
Yeah.
It's like, and it feels good to just have somebody that you go to sleep with at night, and then you wake up in the morning, and they just always they push you, but then you get on their nerves because you want to drag them to the computer and work on some stuff. Because I have yet to learn Adobe Illustrator.
I can use Photoshop all day. I'm terrible at Illustrator. I'm the same way. I love Photoshop. Cannot use Illustrator. It's two different beasts to me. It's not even.
It is. And she learned Adobe. She didn't even know how to use Adobe Illustrator. She learned it because I was pushing her to learn it. So
vectors. I'm like, what are vectors? Oh, vectors.
But yeah, it's really important, like to have people surrounded around you that just push positivity. Because I got family members that like that, you know, I mean, you have family that's kind of like some friends that just push the hate.
Yeah.
Just, you know what I mean, low key, but I don't know, man. Like, yeah.
Oh, he got another hat out. Spit on the ground. I don't like that dude.
and as far as like taking criticism from people that don't really do anything, I always had tunnel vision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had I had to learn to like let people just talk. Yeah. You know what I mean? And look past what their judgment is and just keep doing what I want to do. Yeah. Because that's the only way you stay happy.
Yeah. Sometimes it feels like people, it's like all of the build up from them wanting to do things and them not doing it, and they take it out on people that they see doing it.
That is weird.
It's weird, man. You would think that they'd be like, "Oh, cool. How do I get into this?" And it translates to hate at the end of the day. And I don't like to use that a lot because I'm not a rapper, so I'm not one of those people. I don't have a lot of haters, but I have these instances where when people are very straightforward and they're like, I don't like this thing. I don't think what you're doing is a good thing. I don't, and that's fine.
Yeah, that is fine. But I tell people, like, people always brush out the haters. We don't need no haters. But, like, we need them. Yeah. Like, that's how you weave out who's real and who's not. Yeah. Like, we need haters. Like, they're incredible. They're like, most of the time they're probably hating just to hate. Yeah. But, I don't know, like, you need to know the difference between a person that's being genuine and a person that just want to get under your skin. Yeah. So it's like, I congratulate them. Like, we need them. Like, we can't get rid of them.
Yeah. Especially with the internet, and then that actually shows you that you're doing polarizing work. If you have somebody that hates what you do, that means you're doing something. If somebody just like, it's okay. You know, you're not doing anything. You're not moving anybody. You're not creating any emotion in that person. Because you're going to have somebody that loves your work, and you're also going to have somebody that hates it. If everybody's in the middle, then you're just doing something that gets by in the times.
And I got into being my worst critic. Like, making hats by myself, it took me forever to get my stuff, actually present my stuff to people. Because at first, when I was constructing the hats, like, by myself, without no knowledge, I was very critical. Because my main thing was I want to make my hat look like a hat that I go buy from Lids.
Yeah.
Because I was seeing people that made hats, and I'll be on Instagram, and this person made hats, and I'd be like, damn, they didn't do this. How the hell they get 200 likes? Like, I don't understand this. I only got 15. Right. My shit looks like almost looks like you can buy that at the store.
People put a meme on the hat. They're like, yo,
go crazy.
500 likes. It's Drake on it. It's like, yo, come on, man. Like, it's like fast food. I think that what you're going for is something a lot more palatable to everybody. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're not looking for fast food. You're not putting out a meme on something that's popular.
Exactly.
If you wanted to, you could, but you've earned the right at this point that you've released more than 10 designs at this point that somebody could look at you and be like, all right, so he's not going to rely on this gimmicky thing. Because I've seen your stuff. It's like, you have earth tones I saw a Star Trek.
Yeah.
That was a Star Trek thing.
That was the beginning.
I was like, what? This is nuts. It was so dope. And I like the idea that your brand could go anywhere. Like, in terms of patterns, like, I think that hats and T-shirts are two things that people can look at very quickly and be like, that's dope. That's dope. or it has a message real quick, or
Yeah.
People can put things together really quickly. I think there's something about how quickly. I have a rule when it comes to designs: 5 seconds. You should be able to look at it and be like, "That's dope." Very quickly, you should be able to figure it out, know what it is, say it's dope. That's it. If it has extra details, that's cool. Like I love under the brim prints and stuff like that. But if it has extra details, that's cool. But up front, that wow factor has to be there.
Yeah.
And I think that every hat I've seen you design, every hat that I've seen people wear, every hat I've seen out has that, man. It's like an ingenuity to it that if you're sharp enough, if you smarter than a fifth grader, you can see there's something about this design that's a lot of care goes into it. So I just wanted to
thank you.
let you know. I never had a chance to really tell you that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Like I had to learn the first 3 years was like more trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn like the collection side of things and like making more than just a one-off.
Mm-hmm.
So now my thing is my number is 5 to 10 hats, depending on the design.
Okay.
So now, me and wifey been learning like how to do collections and stuff. So now I'm doing more things in an orderly fashion to like do stuff for spring, summer, fall,
right.
and gradually getting up there instead of like just making just random things.
Yeah.
I try to like all uniform it more now.
Yeah.
And like come up with more ideas to like the Delta. Like people like that pyramid. I don't know what it is. And I got that off just from being in the doctor's office looking at that thing. You know the little letters and stuff?
Yeah.
I was like, I want to make something similar to that.
Yeah.
And I dated and like people was like, I love that pyramid. That's dope. Like, oh man, can you make it in colors? So I just started making it in different colors, and like that's something I'm gonna always make.
Right.
Because it's just I don't know, I think it's cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
That's so dope.
the different, like, my thing is now, like, I don't go to any Joann's fabrics or any of that. My process is I go to thrift stores and I look for fabrics that's like I don't know, that catches the eye.
Yeah.
Like yesterday I was at a thrift store in Edgewood and I found some houndstooth. So I was like,
I love houndstooth.
I'm gonna mess with some houndstooth this time around. And
Please tell me about it. Please, I will buy the shit out of the hat. If you make some hats with houndstooth, I love houndstooth, man.
It's coming soon, man. I'm getting some hats ready. I'm doing a drop in February.
Okay,
So,
I will be there.
yeah,
Please
man.
let me know.
Yeah, like that and what else were you working on this year? More shirts. We're gonna do more like graphic T-shirts because
Cool.
I definitely want to present that this year, like raglans and pocket tees. I love pocket tees. Man.
Yeah.
I think that's dope. That and like I don't know, just doing collabos with people. Me and TT the artist got a dope collab coming out
Really?
called Doodle.
Ah.
So it's gonna be like I'm not gonna take too much details, but it's gonna be dope. You guys are gonna see it when it comes out.
Right.
Her artwork is sick. Like
Yeah.
I love working with her.
That's
She's
incredible.
really fun to work with.
She seems really talented. I watched her at Hamden Fest or something. Like she was
Yeah.
performing there and was killing people, was jumping around. It was dope, man.
You talked about always feeling like you made it when you just having 3 or 4 people buy a hat or 3 or 4 likes on Instagram. What was that point where it changed over to like actual consistent positivity feedback and you being able to?
I stopped paying
see people
attention. I
purchasing
stopped
it.
paying attention to the Instagram likes and started paying attention to the people in the street.
Mm.
I started feeling like I had to stop trying to reach the world before I reached the people in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
So I was watching TV and I was listening to the dude that started on FUBU.
Yeah. That dude's kind of amazing. man.
Yo, he's awesome.
He is.
Like, he was saying like, what I mean, you a person, you making something, you get with your local seamstress and then you try to get in your local store. And that's what made me go to Dan 16 tons. I was like, man, I'm gonna go to 16 tons. I was like, I don't need no seamstress. I know how to sew now. I was like, I'm gonna go to 16 tons. I holler at him. But that dude gave me that dude gave some good inspirational tips, man. Like
I'm a little sad that the culture collapsed on FUBU the way they did.
like FUBU was hard, man.
It was, and if people lie like they didn't wear it back then, they did. Everybody had it. Once it got to a point where they started putting Fat Albert on us and stuff like that, it got weird. But prior to that,
I ain't gonna lie, some of that Fat Albert sweaters and stuff.
Yeah.
Some of
But
it was
that thing
on the
was
level
an
of
era.
iceberg history.
Yes.
It kinda
Yeah.
reminded me of
man,
that.
I've been looking for. There's a jean set that Iceberg made with all the members of the Simpsons on it.
What?
It's like a gray and white pattern.
Oh,
I cannot
seen
find it. I need to find it so bad. I knew this dude that sold drugs when I was in high school, and he pulled up in one, and I back then I wanted a clothing line, and I was like, this is the greatest. That iceberg stuff was amazing.
Yeah, man. Inichi was dope too. I used to like Inichi a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew people were like, "Oh man, they ain't Inichi, it's Inise." I was like, no, it's Inichi, man.
Nice.
Yeah, I was an academics fan. I used to sell academics. I used to talk to this dude in New York. This is when I was, Jesus, man. This was 2000. Nope, before 2000. This was 98 when eBay was just getting around there. There was a dude in New York that sold academics, and it hadn't really bubbled here. So he was like, if I send you some designs, some sweatsuits, can you sell it here? And he was like, you can have like a quarter of it if you could do it. And I used to sell it online. I used to sell it here. I used to do whatever I could to have academics. I was like, academic, you need to wear academics. You look like an academic. You need that big A on the side of your shit.
You go to school, you like learning. I got a clothing line that works perfectly for you.
Yeah. Academics. You know who wears academics? Fabulous. He makes some with Pharrell.
Really? I see.
You could be just like him.
I've seen him in it.
Holla back, younger. You ever heard that? That could be you. The girls could be holla back at you, younger. Anyway.
I feel like the only like black designers we only still have to hold on to, the really only one is Carl Kanai for real.
Yeah,
like,
that's really.
He's like the only one that's left besides everything else.
Yeah, there's really nobody.
Designers, they put their name on the brand, had other people doing it, and then once it got to a certain point, they just sold it and kept doing what they were
exactly.
Whether it was music or whatever they were into.
Exactly.
That Roc-a-Wear thing was weird. Like basically, what they did was they molded a couple designs and then they sold it to a guy. Like he's like Russian, and then he just mass produced shirts and jeans. So they had some hand in it for the first couple of years, but then they just kind of sold it.
But that's also what attributed to like the end of a lot of those brands because they got so large they lost that core that they built with it just being between our community. And then if you put it in Macy's, you put it in JCPenney, you put it in Target, you put it in Walmart or all these other stores where anybody can access to it, people lose that feel that they get when they buy it.
Exclusivity of it.
Oh, that brings me to a question because I was thinking about that. When you think about your brand, is it more of a boutique feel? Is it more sold online? Where do you picture it being?
The main places I would love to see my brand is a Dover Street Market or opening ceremony. That's where I put myself at. Like I don't want to be.
I fucking love open ceremony.
Yeah, man. That's like the chicken got on that. Like their story is pretty awesome.
Really?
Yeah, and I like that. I don't know. I'm really big on that, man. I just think it's so dope. Like, but yeah, if I can just be limited to like stores like that. I'm fine, dude.
Yeah.
I'd have no aspirations of being in a Macy's or anything. And like for real, like if it ever came to it, like if I could just sell it for myself, if I can't get in none of those stores, I just sell it for myself. Right. Like I'm not really pressed to be like anywhere and everywhere. Yeah. I want to be where I want it. Exactly. You know what I mean? So
the number supposedly statistically is if you get 3,000 loyal paying customers, you can live wealthy for the rest of your life, supposedly. That's that I've heard that a couple of business owners say that. 3,000. It doesn't even have to be a ton.
That makes sense.
3,000 loyal customers, people that are buying consistently. And then you can have like 7,000 people that are casually buying it, but 3,000 loyal customers. When you got a drop before hats, they buy one of them. Yeah. Every time. Yeah. That's crazy, man.
It really clicked when I was talking to Dan one day outside 16 Tons, and he was like, I got people. He's like, you gonna bring some more hats? I remember I took a little break. I took like a 3-month break. I was burnt out. I was like making hat after hat, man. Jeez, I just like. He's like, man, where you been? I was like, oh, just playing video games and chilling. He's like, I need more hats. He's like, I got people coming in here every day looking for Creative King hats. I'm like, for real? I'm like, they like it like that. He's like, dude, people have collections of your hats. I was like, what? It's like, I don't believe that. Then this girl hit me up one day and she's like, oh yeah, I see the hat that you have. Can you think you got any up more? I was like, yeah, I can check for you and see if I got some in the house or whatever. She's like, yeah, because this would be like my 8th or 9th hat. I'm like, damn, word. I'm like, that's awesome. Wow. Like it's crazy. And like that's incredible. Keep learning from different people. And like Frank,
yeah.
He has a bunch of them.
Frank will buy the shit out of your hats. He's like, he's coming out with some new hats.
He told me, he was like, man, my girlfriend said I can't buy no hats for a while. He's like, I got to sneak one. I I was like, damn, how many have you bought? Like, because I never really pay attention, but it really hit me when I was walking down the street. And like sometimes I look at who's wearing it. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be like ignorant or nothing, but I'm walking down the street and I see this father with his son. And the father was dressed. He had he had a bubble vest on with his Pendleton and real nice. I'm like, oh damn, that's a nice color scheme. And he had like a red and black flannel hat. And I was like, damn, that hat hit out hard. And when he walked by me, I looked up and I seen the brain and crown and the little embossed label. I was like, oh shit, nice. Dad's out here walking his son, dapper, and my hat's on. That's what's up. I get a drive from that, man. I see people walking with the hat, like doing Hunfest and stuff and like Artscape. My thing is when I go to any of those festivals, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna see 3 Creative King hats. Let's see if I see 3.
Right.
And that'll make me feel at ease. Make me feel like it's getting out there. I was like, I'm gonna see 3 hats. If I don't see 3 hats, I'm gonna take my black ass home and I'm gonna get some hats. So when I go, every time I'm looking for it, I see at least 3 to 4 people wearing a Creative King hat. Man. Like it was really dope when I was in DC and I seen somebody wearing a Creative King hat. I was like, that's dope. And like people around the country are buying them. I had like sales in Australia, London, like a couple, and that was dope. You know, what I mean? That felt real good. But I got to a point where it's like I'm back to the tunnel vision. I'm not really worried about the hype. I just want to keep making and keep producing to make better stuff, make the brand even more better. So I got my little high off people. You know what I mean? So I was like, I'm gonna work harder.
That's cool, man.
And on that scaling point, you talked about the stores that you wanted to carry it. Are you gonna keep the brand like handmade? Are you always gonna be producing? Or are you gonna bring a couple people on board with you?
See, that's the thing. Like I'm in like so this year is gonna determine all that because this year is like I want to like up the ante even more because I'm doing more stuff with a lot of more people. As long as I can make them, I'm gonna try to make them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like when it picks up, more revenue comes in. I will definitely. I have a couple friends who in mind that I definitely want to
training them up.
Yep. Get all that going. But I get a satisfaction out of making things because when I first started making the hats, my whole thing was to go to thrift stores and find like unworn hats, and I would use those parts because I had no manufacturer to get sweatbands from, like straps, center release buckles. I had none of that. So my thing was I was getting the fabric and going to like Joann's and buying bias tape to tape the insides of the hats. But I would like get all my brims and stuff from recycled hats. So the brand was basically built off making Creative King hats out of recycled hats. So then I got to the point where I started meeting people who had connections and like finding manufacturers of sweatbands and hell, right now I click out my own brims. Like got a mold at the shop. We click out my own brims. Wow. The only thing I order are the sweatbands, and I emboss my own leather labels. I do all the hats you see the embroidery on. Yeah. I embroider all that before I even put the hat together. So when you see it on the front panel, like when you see like this on the front panel of a 5-panel, before that hat's even put together, I do all the embroidery myself. I don't send out to do no embroidery. None of that. Like
my brain is fucking melting right now. So, that's incredible, man.
Yeah, man. Like I'm hands on, and I like being hands on. I get a satisfaction out of being hands on. I love it, like, and to the point where I was like screen printing shirts myself, like for the Moblins thing. I was doing a couple other friends, and definitely hands on. Like I wouldn't want to no other way. So if I was to like mass produce, don't get me wrong, I have snapbacks and stuff and like dad hats that I get wholesale, but I embroider those myself, or I make the patches for them. So I try to keep it consistent with being hands on.
Yes, but that's the thing about being an artist. You have to decide, especially since you're a business, you have to decide what lane you want to be in. If you want to be the executive where you're just making the moves and putting other people in place and having other people produce your stuff, or if you still want to be on the creative side where you're still, have your hands on process and you hire other people to do those other things, whether it's marketing or the promotion or negotiating deals and stuff like that, because you're going to get to a point where all you want to do is design, and that's what you love, and that's what you have your passion for. And if you get those other people to do the things that they love, whether it's marketing or just pushing your brand out there, street teams or whatever, your brand's going to grow a lot more that way because you're putting all your energy into doing your designs versus splitting your energy up to 6 other divisions of your brand. So that's something that I always try to, tell people, and that's those things that I've learned from, other people that have been in the industry and designing and doing those things. So
it's a lot to balance, man.
It is. It's a lot to balance.
It's a lot to balance. Yes.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot to balance. But I mean, it's working for yourself in that way it seems pretty satisfying.
Yeah.
And
because you don't think about it when you're in the moment. You just do it because you're loving it. You're doing it because you want to push stuff out. But if you sit there and talk to somebody, well, how do you get this done? How do you do your designs? How do you promote it? How do you market it? What about sales? Who handles all the shipping? If you run all the things, well, I do that. I got somebody to help me, but I generally do that. It's a lot of stuff that you do on your own.
Exactly. And the only thing I don't do is the computer stuff. Like, I know I be getting on my wife's nerves so much, man. But like, it's like the computer stuff, like all checking emails and stuff. That's her job.
Yeah.
Like, I make the hats, and she's like, I don't get paid. I'm like, yeah, you do. You get paid
in love. You paid in love.
But yeah, it's a good team though, man. We're a real good team together.
That sounds like it.
I even put my daughter to work, man.
How old is she now?
She's 12. Okay. Yeah, I put her to work. She be like, getting tags and stuff ready. Have a snipping threads. Yeah,
that's cool.
That's really
good work, man.
Does she show any signs of wanting to do it when
she's very artsy. She's in the drawing and stuff. But like she just looks and just stares. She's like, my dad makes hats. She's like, oh, he's cool. I was seeing one of her friends started following the Instagram, and now I get to see her go back and talk to her friends about like, yeah, my dad made this. My dad can make a hat. My dad made me a backpack and all that stuff. I was like, oh man. She's like, can you make my friend a hat? I'm like, yeah, I can make your friend a hat. Like, sure.
That's incredible, man.
I was like, yeah, that's awesome. I get happy about that. That's pretty cool, man.
That is really cool. How much are your interests outside of design? How do they affect your hat designing? So like, you made a Star Trek hat. Like, do you like Star Trek, or are you movie buff? Are you music? What's your
When I made the Star Trek hat, I just thought it looked cool.
It did.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to do something. I wanted to do something that I thought Trekkies was gonna be all on it when I posted it. I was like, man, I'm gonna post this on Instagram. All the Trekkies gonna come in, like they're gonna
they be thirsting over this.
Make 800 of these.
But then I was like, what really like worked for me was when I started like paying attention to do like, I don't know, it's just really whatever. When the season comes, I try to do a theme and stick with it, like and try to go from there.
Gotcha. And
like come up with a different design to embroider. Like ever since I got an embroidery machine, I've been going haywire, man. Like I love it. Like,
wow, that's dope. I used to work at Under Armour. I used to do IT there, right?
Uh-huh.
And you just help with a bunch of the Macs and stuff like that, and see designs. And I'd be in rooms where they're looking at 2019 designs. You know what I mean? It was nuts. And this was like 2015, 2016. Seeing how far ahead they were, it's nuts. It's nuts. My favorite brand actually is Stussy.
Nice.
I think Stussy is so. I mean, they sell stuff in other places, but if you go to their shops, you get tees from there, you get hats that are specifically for that. And it's something about the exclusivity. So like if you compromise a little bit and say, I want people to know about the brand, I'll put it in like maybe not a DTLR, but like maybe a mall boutique or something like that. But I'll also make something specifically for this location. I think that's something pretty dope about that.
Yeah, and it's like that with all three of the stores I'm in, like with For Rent and Bottled Bread and 16-ton/Double Dutch. Like I make things pertaining to those stores because like they have their own audience of people. Yeah. Because like Hamden, you have all the hipsters and the rockabilly people, and then like For Rent, you got all the people that's into like Kodak Black and like just the urban hip hop scene. You know what I'm saying? So it's like. Yeah.
That's the good thing about you still being hands-on with the process. You have the ability to do that. You have different markets to push your stuff in, and you can make things for those markets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So are there anything sewing-wise that you are aspiring to make that you haven't been able to make yet?
Well, right now I've been heavily contemplating about. I'm in the sneakers a lot. Like I like
Think about making.
like I want to make a carrying bag for like when you go out of town. Like because when you go out of town, you don't want to be limited to just taking 1 or 2 pairs of shoes. Like
you want to
I want to have at least 5 pairs with me just cause because I love shoes, man. Like and I don't know, like Nike's my favorite brand.
Yeah.
I like Nike.
All right, just one request. When you make one, I wear size 14.
Oh, I want my 13. So.
Okay, cool. It's
definitely
definitely because most of the time you find a bag like that and it's a standard shoe size, so like between 8 and 10. If you got a bigger foot, you can't.
Oh yeah, definitely gotta show love to my brother's oversized 12, man. Like for sure, Like
What's your favorite Nike shoe or top 3 Nike shoes? Because I feel like that's just
top 3 Nike shoes.
Yeah. Because you said that. I gotta ask you.
Air Max 1s.
The first ones.
The first 87 ones.
Yo, I feel like you and I gonna be connected for life. That is my favorite. Like aside from the Jordan 3s, the most beautiful shoe ever created.
It's awesome.
It is gorgeous. Like everything is the base of that shoe is an inspiration for like almost every shoe that Nike does. It's a running shoe.
Yeah,
it's the set silhouette. It's literally
you can't go wrong with it.
You cannot. It's gorgeous.
Like it comes in so many flavors, man.
Yeah.
It's just dope. That one, the Air Max 97.
Okay.
All day, man.
That's a good shoe.
I still haven't yet to get that shoe. I wanted it when I was younger.
I never had a pair.
Cause
I have so many pairs of Air Max 1s. Never had a pair of the 97.
130, 160 was a lot back then, man.
Yeah.
Like, my mom never bought me J's. Like, my brother and sister had them, which I'm still upset about. And she listened to this. But, like, my brother and sister had J's. But it's like, I don't know. I fell in love with the Nike running, like, as a kid. Because I had Pegasus and, like, Air Maxes. Like, so it's the Air Max 1, the 97. And then I'm going to go and sing... Well, shit. What's the third? I'm going to say the Air Max 90.
Okay. So you're Air Max head.
Yeah, I like Air Max. I like Air Max a lot.
That's dope.
I love Air Max.
That's really dope.
Yeah. I don't know if they're going to do one this year, but they did it last year. The Air Max Day, they had an event in New York, and you should probably go up to that.
Oh, yeah. Wait, is it Nike Town?
Yeah, I think so. If you're on that mailing list, I don't know if they send it out to certain people, but I got it last year. So
yeah, I'm on the mailing list.
Okay, yeah. Like if you get it, if not, I'll forward it to you.
Oh, for sure. I definitely want to go check that out.
Man.
Because one of my friends, she went to it last year and took some pictures. They had like this crazy photo booth type thing in there and a whole bunch of other different displays and, showcasing all the shoes. It was pretty dope.
Nice.
So.
I just got a pair of Air Max 2016s. Them things is...
I've actually never seen... Is it the bubble goes around the whole shoe?
The whole shoe, yeah. But
Okay.
the ones I just got, they're all black and the bubble is all black and speckled white.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like, yo, that shoe...
Man, I am so conflicted about Nike as a company because I think they've hit this peak where they're manufacturing so many old things. Mm-hmm. They're just retro and everything, and not making any new things.
Yeah,
like they'll make the Air Max 2016s, and then they'll like not make a new basketball shoe. They'll fuse basketball shoes together to make one new shoe.
Yeah, like how many times have we done that within like the past 6 to 8 months? Like, oh well, that's these 3 shoes put together.
3 shoes put together. It's the sole of this shoe and the back of the Jordan and the front of the LeBron, and it's weird, man.
Yeah.
So I really do like when they go out their way to like make like an Air Max or something like that, a shoe that is definitively in some ways different than the other ones that they've made. They try, man.
Yeah, you know how like they do collabs with like boutiques and stuff
Yes.
and all that. I would love. I've been daydreaming this for the last 2 weeks. I would love to have a Creative King colorway of that. Oh my god, man.
Oh man.
I'm hoping and wishing one day I meet a Nike Zach or somebody who work for them. I hope y'all listening.
Right. Make that.
Man, that's how it worked out for Vashti when she did her Jordan. She just knew somebody that worked over there for a while, and they, just came to her. It was like, I see you always in the Jordans. Would you be interested in making one? She said, yeah, and, made her own shoes.
That's awesome.
You never know.
Yeah, because, like, I follow DJ Clark Kent a lot. Like,
yeah, man.
That man, Jesus.
Yeah.
Him and Mayer, those dudes, man.
Yeah.
Them dudes got kicks. Like, all day, man.
I've fallen in love with a shoe that I never would have ever said that I would. Some of the colorways of the Air Force One boot. The Air Force One boot. I said it. I think it's a gorgeous shoe.
You talking about the one with
it's like it's
high support
like
on
the high support, slightly high support. It's like the outside of it looks kind of like rubbery.
Yeah,
it's waterproof.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. Yeah.
Man, I saw them on somebody, and then I've been looking them up. I think I might get a pair. I never in my life would have ever said that. Ever in my life. It's something's happening to me, man. It's like a resurgence of dope Nikes. Is like,
yeah, man. They need to bring back ACG though.
Yeah.
Like ACG used to be heavy in the 90s, man.
What happened to it?
I had a pair of ACG combat boots where it had the button snaps. It had the fold down button snaps where it was a mid. But then when you wanted to like get high tech, you gonna undo those button snaps and make the shoe even higher. Yeah. Oh my god, man. Just to make the coolest stuff.
Damn, man. I feel like they're due for a kind of a resurgence. Like, I feel like they're kind of just coasting.
Well, they just gotta keep getting hit by Adidas.
Yeah, and Under Armour. I think the Adidas Under Armour thing really affected them. Like, you know, they took some L's. Like, there's something about something doesn't have to be the most amazing looking shoe, but if you offer something different, people tend to lean towards it.
Yeah, and that's what Adidas did.
Yeah,
they're like with that because that boosts technology.
Yeah, and the thing is, they put together a crazy team. So you got Nigo, you got Pharrell, you got Kanye, you got just all these different creative people doing designs. Yeah, you got Yoshi, you got Jeremy Scott. You got all these people that over there that do their own thing, but they can come to Adidas and you allow them to do what they want. It creates a great product, and I think that's what separates them from Under Armour and Nike right now, and just having people come in and do what they want, because the other two companies, they kind of play it safe right now.
Yeah.
They've been doing that.
They have their own markets, and they stick to those markets. They try not to venture out.
It's been close to like a decade that they've been really, really hitting people heavy with designers collaborating to make stuff, and I remember the first time I saw a pair of Y3s, I thought I was looking at alien shoes. I didn't know what I was looking at. I was like, what are these? Well, people wear these shoes?
The Pusha T shoe. I don't think anybody else would do that.
Okay, so
that crazy.
All right, so remember the first version he put out?
The off-white coat color.
Yeah, and then the knit joint, the grayish sort of one that came out pretty recently. I like took the little, the little pan little feature where you could look around the sneaker. Yeah. That is a nice looking shoe.
Yeah. The new Pusha T shoe is pretty dope.
It's pretty dope. I kind of want a pair.
I can't believe, like, dang, they giving everybody the run, but then it's killing. Like, you look at it, man, they killing the game. But I'm gonna say like when it comes to being underground and certain like sub genres of sneakers, I feel like Nike got that hands down, because like
I feel like they lost that personally, because I used to love SBs.
They got rid of SBs.
SBs. SBs. Whole SB joint.
Well, the weird part is it wasn't like they weren't doing well. They just didn't do as well as they were doing a couple years ago, and they're just like they aren't moving off the shelf as soon as they put them out. Like
the resurgence of the Jordans and the retros. That's what kind of killed them, because that was like right before that era. Like all the way up to that point, you get such crazy. The like Supreme collabs and all that from SB, and then that kind of just teared off.
They actually, it's like SB was like the XFL of people shit on SB, but the XFL created that top view camera that they use in the NFL now. That turns around. It's the same way. Like packs, people didn't know about packs before SBs. Mm-hmm. Now they put out packs all the time. People go nuts.
Supreme Jordan now.
Yeah. Packs, like all the cologne pack, the Halloween pack, that stuff didn't exist before SB, and they borrowed those things and put them into their other divisions, and it's like gold.
Yeah,
it's like gold.
I wish they'd bring some of the SB designs back, like the Abington and like it was a couple of them. The early 2000s, like 2000 on up to like 2007. And I feel like after 2008, that's when SB took a decline to me.
Yeah,
I don't know, because they had some.
What I was saying, that's when
they had some crazy colorways, man.
Did,
like
man.
The big gulps, all those, man. They had the
the MF Dooms. I was like, they had so many, and there would be like little pieces of like I remember. I was gonna get the Pee Wee Hermans.
I remember,
and they had the seat they had the seat where he was masturbating in the theater. It was like a theater seat with him in the middle, and I was like, these little details, man.
Yeah,
people,
yo, it's crazy, man.
People love that shit, man.
Then they was doing the collabs with like all the graffiti artists, like Futura 2000,
which those resold for like $3,000, $4,000. Yeah,
it's crazy how like Kanye's like the Yeezys are like what in Flight Club. Those things are like what $3,000 or something like that.
That's ridiculous.
Like for start off with a shoe, Adidas at that. You would never think Adidas was gonna be like that.
It's so much has changed, man.
Yeah, man, it's nuts, man. Like I remember back in the day, I used to get the Oswego's Adidas. That used to be the jump off. You get those at $76. You was doing it, but like now Adidas over $200.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And then you go to the site and you can't get any. Right. Like I just want a pair. I'm willing to pay the money. I'm all right with spending this money, and I can't get it.
Yeah, man, it changed, man. Back in the day, like you can just go to the store and just go buy shoes. You'll go there and it'd be spontaneously a new Jordan or whatever will be there, and you can just buy it. Now it's like they got release dates. Yeah. So like you try to go to the store, it's like everybody's lined up. Then it's pandemonium. Yep. It's crazy, man.
The game has changed, man. You either got to get a hookup or
you
gotta have a plug.
You got to camp out. It's gross.
Yeah, it's just like I like Air Max and stuff a lot because I feel like a lot of kids ain't hunting for that.
No,
they hunting for the J's, man.
It's funny you say that. If you go to like downtown Locker Room, you go to Shoe Cities, especially in the city, you can. I used to buy Air Max 1s for like $40, $50 because people didn't buy them, so they would go on sale. Mm-hmm. People do not buy Air Max 1s. They do not buy 95s like that. They do not buy.
I was at Marshall's last night.
Oh.
They had tons of 90s and Air Max 1s.
Really?
Yeah, they just didn't have a 13, man.
Whoa, which Marshalls?
I don't know. I was in one in Bel Air. Marshalls and Ross is a gold mine for
Air I had to go, man. I want some Air Max 1s.
Jordan 1s, too. Like, Ross been known to carry Jordan 3s and 4s.
That's blowing my mind.
People don't know that, though. Well, they know now. But, like,
Complex has been doing these, like, crazy news reports about it. Yeah. Somebody was like out and saw some infrared 6s. Was just sitting there.
Yeah,
it's like, ooh, that's weird.
Well, and I'm sorry.
I was gonna say also the Supreme stuff. You hear that? The Supreme Jordan stuff.
Yeah,
didn't sell as well as they thought. So they've been selling them in like the Nike outlets. So you can get a hoodie for like $30 that people spending $300 for.
The Supreme and Jordan?
The Supreme Jordan joint. Like, there have been reports of people finding them at the outlets because they just didn't sell.
Like, I love Nike outlets because, like, every time I go to one, you always find that one deal.
Yes.
Like, I got a pair of Kaishi Run Nikes for $15.
What?
Wow. It was $20 with 15% off.
Damn.
You can never go wrong. That's why I advise anybody when you go to Nike outlets, just hit it up. Hit it up, man.
Damn. I was telling him 2001, 2002, I went to downtown Locker Room in Towson and got some Mocha 3s.
Yeah. What?
For $50. That's before retroing was like a huge thing, man. People were not checking for those Jordans like that, man.
Yeah. That's how I ended up getting my Miss Blue 4s. I went to Mondawmin one day. I just was walking around the mall, and it was like DTLR or something like that. They had them like in the back of the store. You know what it is, like the cheaper shoes are. They was just sitting over there. I was like, oh, it was like $75 or something like that.
That's funny you say that. I went to a DTLR out in the county, and this was back in like 2003. Got a pair of Bordeaux's for $30.
What?
This is like 2003, 2004. Yeah.
Oh my god.
$30.
Yeah, I gotta. We gotta start hunting, man.
Yeah, with all the discounted shoes.
Yeah, we gotta start hunting, man.
Yeah, man. It's some hunting places out there. Yeah. Like I said, in that Marshalls I was at last night, they had the SBs that had the cowhide like fur on them. Yeah. They had those on marked down for $25. It was like size 6 though. Damn. That's crazy, man. Like it's nuts.
Pit Crew and Frederick.
Oh yeah.
They had the
SBs from them heavy.
Yo, we need to go there. They moved to like a warehouse. Yeah. It's dope looking, and they had the lobster. I love those because they actually put the band around it. First and foremost, they sent one box the way that they were originally intended in the like shipping wooden box, the shipping crate. You remove the lid. It had like
wrapped in like newspaper or something.
Yeah, it had the shipping paper and all that stuff. Man, like that's when. Whoa. Oh, just talk about rare shoes. Coraline. I have the Coraline You remember the movie Coraline?
Yeah.
Coraline, the guy that funded the movie has stopped, like, is a partial owner of Nike, and made a pair of high dunks, and I got a pair of them. I won through a sweepstakes. I have them at my mom's house. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with them.
Damn, that's crazy.
They're really dope. They're like they have like the weird stitching from Coraline all over the shoe. They're like earth tones, like kind of green.
That's wild, man.
Yeah, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with them. I've been kind of thinking about it for the last couple weeks. I'm like, maybe I should maybe wear them. I don't know.
Rock them joints. Don't let them dry rot and get all torn.
Right.
I rotate them. I have to rotate my shoes, man. Because like eventually they're just gonna crumble. Eventually, like which is sad. Like I got friends who be trying to put them in Ziploc bags.
Really?
Yeah, like the big freezer bags, and then put them back in the box. I'm like,
Jesus.
Yeah, you can keep trying, but
you really gotta do what they do at like Flight Club and like saran wrap.
Yeah, man.
Damn. So we talked about shoes. What music are you listening to right now?
Music. I always got some doom going.
Okay, cool.
Right now, recently, I've been listening to a lot of jazz.
Cool.
Like Coltrane. I've been listening to Love Supreme like over and over again. Like some Miles Davis stuff. Like cool. I'm really kind of mellow when it comes to the music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then I go back into my little Southern phase and play some Project Pat after that. So that's what I'm into. I don't listen to like hip hop radio. I just listen to 92Q, not 92Q. I listen to 89.7 and Jack FM a lot.
Gotcha.
When I'm in the car. But other than that, it's like what's the one album from 97? New York Reality Check 101, hosted by DJ Premier. You ever heard that?
No.
Oh my God, it came out in 97.
That sounds. I love DJ Premier.
Look that up. It has like what is it? Company Flow on there, like 8 Steps to Perfection. This is when all this stuff first came out. Yeah. And he just did that album. And he mixed it. And it's got G Dep before he was on Bad Boy on there. It's got like Head Over Wheels. Check that song out.
Yo, G Dep's first album is so good.
Oh yeah.
It's a Child of the Ghetto.
Yeah.
Every Day, the version with Faith Evans, because that one, I don't think that one's on the album. I heard it on like a what was his name? DJ Clue version or whatever.
That's when we had that conversation like last week about that era, just having mixtapes and you just finding gems on mixtapes. Yes. I missed that.
Yeah, part. Man. Like another mixtape I pulled out of archives. I used to be in the Dipset so heavy.
Woo!
Jim Jones Rider music.
Oh man,
yo, I found that on YouTube, man. I've been playing that heavy lately. People sleep on Jim though.
Jim is solid, man.
Yeah, he got some heat.
He talks more than he raps sometimes. Like he just does a lot of shit talking, and that gets in the way of his talent.
Actual talent. Yeah,
he's really talented.
Because sometimes he could just be an ass.
Yeah.
But other than that, like some of his music speaks for itself.
Yeah.
What's that? On My Way to Church album?
Yes. Yo, Max B and him together were incredible. I don't care what anybody says.
No doubt.
When they used to make shit together.
I hate that they beef.
I know.
It sucks, man. Max B
went to jail, said that he had sex with Jim Jones' wife. I was like, man, this is too far, man.
He should be out in like a couple years.
I hope so.
He's coming home soon.
Yeah.
Ready for the Silver Surfer to get out.
Silver Surfer, man. Like, my favorite Max B song is, what's that joint? I never want to go back in there. Yo, Max B is a jump off, man. That dude is talented.
He is.
Melodic, man. Like
the greatest laugh of all time. The greatest laugh of all time. So we have this portion of our podcast called The Branded 10. Mm-hmm. It's basically every guest we have on, we get them to make a 10-song playlist. And then we put it on Spotify for people to kind of see what you're listening to. So, when you get a chance, shoot me over.
Some Max B on there, put some
Project
Pat.
Sure. It's sort of a representation of you in 10 songs. You can send over just song names as long as they're on Spotify.
All right, cool.
Yeah, we'll make the playlist.
Definitely. I got some stuff.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool.
Man.
That's incredible, man. That's dope. So, what are you thinking? What are you thinking, How's it?
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Went over, favorites. Went over to Bradenton, talked shoes.
Yeah, it's incredible, man.
I actually enjoyed this.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Where can we reach you? Where can we find your brand? Where can we, get in contact with you?
First and foremost, you can find Creative King at www.creative-king.com. And you can find me at 16 Tons / Double Dutch, which is in Hampton, 1021 West 36th Street. And then at For Rent Shoes, 515 Cathedral Street, Midtown Baltimore. And at Bottle of Bread on Reed Street, West Reed Street. I think it's 216 West Reed Street.
Okay.
Cool. So and then this year we should be doing Artscape, and pretty much any festival that's popping up in Baltimore we'll be doing this year.
Cool.
So
okay. Any social media?
Social media. I'm on Instagram, Creative King LLC. Check us out, and we have a Facebook page, Creative King LLC Facebook page. So
cool.
Check us out, man.
Where can they see you, Donte, on social media?
I do everything for the brand. So debonairmaterial.com. Instagram is debonairmaterial. If you want to follow us on Twitter, it's at debmaterial. There's a Facebook page for the brand, as well as for the podcast. So it's branded BRNDD. We're on Facebook, so you can follow us there. If you want to listen to the podcast and subscribe, we're on SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play, iTunes. Just make sure you give us some feedback, leave comments. Like the comments and feedback that we have been getting, it has been making the podcast get better. We are listening. If you want to see some guests that you want to have on, reach out to us and let us know. We'll try and get in contact with them. But yeah, man, that's pretty much it. Where can we get in contact with Ronald James?
Who is Ron James? On Twitter and Instagram. I would normally put flyers up for stand-up, and at some point in the next couple of months, I'm going to try to put some video up because people are like, I want to hear you talk about your balls on YouTube. I want to see that so I can rewind it over and over again.
Phone number is 281-330-8004.
It's Bompton Gangster 32. Nah. But who is Ron James on Twitter and Instagram? We appreciate you guys listening. Thank you for the feedback. If you have any insight, any creative outlet that people can do stuff on or read information on, or any YouTube channels you think are dope for learning the business of being creative, let us know. We'll suggest it. So, cool. I think that's it, right?
Yeah, man. So, appreciate you coming on, man.
I appreciate y'all very much.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself, people.
Thanks, man. That's incredible advice.
And we actually are putting up some video content. So if you want to go on YouTube and look for us, D. Watkins will be the first interview that we're, testing out the video content for. Give us feedback on that and let us know if you want more of that. And, if it's good, we'll keep doing it. And, yeah.
And if it's not good, we'll still keep doing it.
Because we're savages.
It's savage. We look you in your face, be like, we still going to do what you going to do about it. Okay.
Bring me some waffle fries.
But we appreciate you guys listening. Have a good day, man.
Yeah.